I am basically, I'll give my first name first, Fania, which is my Polish grandmother. And the name I'm known in Israel is Tziona. The name I was known in by anyone who knew me until I made Aliyah was Fiona, Fifi, choose what you would wish. And currently 64, living in Harish in Israel. And I have been thinking about this when I began to realize that this was going to be the end of my journey. And I wanted to share some of the stories of my life. Some of them are just for fun, really memories, and some of them were much more very significant times in my life that had a huge impact on me, on my journey, on my spirituality, on what I did with my life. So I want to give a taste of that, I guess, in this film. I was born in Salisbury, Rhodesia in 1961. And I lived there for 12 years, and I had a very, very wonderful childhood. And I think I was very fortunate. So there's some interesting things. My parents were I was first generation on both sides. Both of my parents came from Europe. There were many incredible values that I got from my parents. They were very wonderful employers. They were generous, they were kind. They were very involved in community affairs. My father was involved in the Chevra Kadisha, which was of course a volunteer organization in the shul. Unusually, my mother worked. It was not so usual in Rhodesia, but she worked. And so a lot of very communal, very Jewish, very lovely, wonderful things. And the other huge part of my childhood was youth movements, which I started going to when I was 8. In those days it was Habonim. I switched later on in life, but at that stage it was Habonim, and I think I went the first day I possibly could when I was 8 because I loved it. I've always loved being around people, doing things, interacting, just being the joy of my life always. And it was a huge part of my life. And I went to every camp and go away thing that I could go to. And there was something very much, and I think it's been a theme running through my life of loving being in kind of groups, communities. It's just always enriched me. It's been very good fun for me. So at the end of 1974, I arrived in Cape Town, and I went to the same school, big Jewish day school. My cousins had been to the Raskins, and they had all been on something called Upan, which was a 3-month option to come to Israel and learn Hebrew and Tiyul and go see and learn things. And my parents promised me as soon as they told me that we were going to Cape Town that if I had the grades, they would send me on Upan. That's kind of where my religious phase of my life started. It was also pretty wonderful experience. There were some hard things, but I came back, and that's when I realized I was going to start keeping Shabbat, and that I was going to leave. I was in Habonim, that it didn't work for me anymore, and that's when I switched to Bnei Akiva. And I eventually became also, I think by the age of 15, I was a madricha, and then I went on to lead the movement in Cape Town and at camps. So a very huge part of my life. And I became very involved in social work. I was very lucky. I was assigned to an amazing organization. For my last was a 4-year degree, and the last year we really worked in an organization, and I got assigned to an amazing organization called Grassroots. We were Jews, Christians, Muslims, white, colored, black, and everything in between. Both my supervisors were Muslim. It was a very unusual place that worked in setting up preschool situations in very, very poor, underprivileged areas. And my thesis was actually writing a booklet, which was very rewarding, about how to run a meeting, how to take on and develop an idea and find a committee and make decisions. And I realized that was a big hole, and that's what I did my thesis on. And that booklet is evidently still toddling around. It was about how, for parents, how to do this. So I arrived in Israel. I went to see Deborah and Peter. On the way, Deborah was pregnant with my niece, and I arrived in Israel in 1983. Made Aliyah, and I was religious and I wanted to study and couldn't really find a program that suited me, and literally on the day before the program started, somebody told me about Machon Pardes in Jerusalem. And I filled out the application on Friday morning, handed it in. They said to me, come Sunday and we'll tell you if you're accepted. And I spent 2 years there as a student and volunteering, and then they offered me a job and I worked there for 3 years. So it was very stimulating, met a lot of wonderful people, and that was a huge part of my life. You know, food was very important in our family. My mother came from, for those of you who know Yiddish, when they lived in Poland, they were feinschmeckers. They liked good food. I didn't understand at that age that my parents had been, my father's family had been very poor, and probably food was, the luxury item. And my mother's, during the war, there was obviously not, they were refugees, and so food was always important. We always made lots of it. The pantry was always full. Deborah and I and my Aunt Gertie's 3 children and Gertie and Harry's 3 children, we all have the same thing. We all over-cater. We all have very full pantries. Food became a really important a vehicle to share, to bring people together, to share love, to create something magical. And that was always a really important thing for my life. So I think I had started also having all kinds of health issues along the way, and started getting interested also in healthy food. I landed up getting a job as a chef, the main chef of Alumot. One of the big things was interacting with the people, going above and beyond. It was somebody's birthday, making something special, sitting with the guests at the meals, creating beautiful displays. I just had a knack for it. It was wonderful. You just put a few cardboard boxes, a few beautiful tablecloths, flowers, and make sure that every dish was beautifully decorated before it came out the kitchen. It just makes a huge difference in the way you see it and experience it. It was creating an atmosphere and an energy that people could really enjoy, and something magical would start happening. It's always been a purpose in my life for me, this. It's been one of the vehicles and one of the purposes in my life. It's not just about the food. It's fun having nice food, but it's not that I'm a, total foodie and eating it. It's not that. It's more about, yes, nice food, but creating the magic that happens when you bring people together and you care and you share, and something wonderful happens. I obviously am drawn and very attracted to places that are remote and wild in nature, because I feel this very deep sense of connection there, I guess. Just fills my soul and does something to me internally and helps me to connect. I haven't been in nature as much as I wanted. I thought I would live out many more years in really places that were it always drawn me. It didn't happen. I wish it had happened more. But it's a place that's always filled me. I love being, whether it's here and going to the forest or near the beach. Nature has always just filled me up and given me, it's not just inspiration, but a very profound connection. And a lot of the animal encounters I had in my life happened in places of, remote nature kind of places. I know that one of the things that has given me huge meaning and huge purpose in my life, ever since I was a little girl, is connecting people. It's like being a connector. It's something that it happens for me, and creating spaces where people can connect or feel comfortable in. I love doing that. I've done that in a lot of places I've worked in the States, in Israel, all over. That's like, I'm really good at it. I think a theme throughout my whole life has been community, people, being around people. It's always something, from the time I started youth movements at the age of 8 and was very heavily involved, and came to Israel, and I was in the Pardes community, but there was this huge drive and desire in me always to live in some kind of community. And eventually, I managed, one day I was sitting in my apartment in Pardes Chana, and I was just so wanting to be part of a community, and I had a very big Facebook page, and I wrote in there, maybe there's some new development. Does anyone know of something new happening? And somebody wrote to me within seconds and said, yes, something's happening in Harish, and there's a community that's gotten together. And I was on the phone immediately. It came immediately. I was very determined to make this work, and put ads in, and we made a committee with 2 other people, and been in Harish now for 4.5 years. Well, trying to live in some kind of community is always very challenging. So it's been wonderful things and hard things, but wow, it's just nothing like having friends living in the same building and come over for tea, let's go out, let's do things, I need help. And it's just been such an enormous blessing in my life. And then I was very lucky to find other people who were living in Harish and kind of form another community of friends. When I was first diagnosed in 2015, I think there were a lot more hope that it wouldn't, I would have long remissions and that things would actually be okay, and it just never worked out like that. I began to not feel well in about March of this year, and as soon as I got the blood results, I actually spent the night on my own. I didn't want to tell any of my friends yet. And I had understood immediately what this meant, but it was challenging at times because there's a lot of pressure from the medical establishment to do more treatments and to go through more things, and I'd been so sick, and I'd felt so sick I just knew I wanted to try and live the rest of my life and feel relatively as decent as I can, and just try and enjoy. When I got diagnosed with the leukemia, I phoned Deborah, and which was not an easy call. And she said, should I come? And I said, no, wait a day or two, and then went to the hospital with my friend, with Anna Al, and who's been an angel in my life and been looking after me. I've had a number of friends like this throughout my life, especially in the last many years, who I don't know what I would have done without them. And Al and I, landed up pretty fast in hospital, and all kinds of pretty serious stuff very fast, and kind of told me what this could entail, and I was very shocked, and we both cried, and then I phoned Deborah and I said, come, and she came pretty much straight away, and it was wonderful, just in the hospital room and reading me, and just enjoyed it so much. Jane Austen, it was just it was like this balm floating over me. It was, and she's got a beautiful voice and she reads beautifully, and it was the best. I won't say the word medicine, but it was the best thing that could have been. And managed to spend a number of times together in the last few months, and that's been very big thing, very powerful thing. And having her here now is, I don't think I could have managed this last stage really without her. And Leah, of course, came, and Sarah's coming, and it's been a huge, things are getting more complicated now, and it's been, I don't think words can really express it, but I'm very grateful. And you get to a point where your life shrinks, but I try to really enjoy the very small things, going for a walk in the forest here, if I go to the beach, seeing a flower, and my friends and family, and really small things you really do appreciate. And I think that's a very conscious decision. It's a conscious decision each moment to be in a place of positivity, and I'm still interested in my friends' lives and what's happening with them, and enjoy small things and community, drawing. So, and I'm very lucky. I have this circle of friends that I created, and had wonderful things here that were really magical evenings, many of them. So I feel very at peace about my decision. It was my decision not to do any kind of very invasive treatments now. I just feel very, very at peace that I've done the right thing for me, that my life on earth has come to an end. And there are times I'm scared, there are times I'm lonely, that not all, roses, but I choose as much as I can to make it a positive and loving experience for myself and for everyone around me. And I feel a sense of peace that this will be the end. So you've possibly made it to the end of this video. And wherever you're watching it, or with whomever, I hope that you remember hope you remember me with funness and smiles, and that can translate into your life and bring, I think, spreading goodness and laughter and love is just one of the most important things in this world, especially times are hard for a lot of people and a lot of things, and so I hope that you're watching this and you can laugh. I know a lot of people will be sad, but I hope you can laugh and remember the good things, and that I love to dance. I wish I'd dance more, but I love to dance. I do dance quite a lot, and to sing and to enjoy nature and do things. So I encourage you to do all those things and bring laughter into your life and love into your life. Think of me with joy and laughter and love.